Our State of the U.S. segment tonight, according to sources within the national security community, the resignation of Mike Flynn was the culmination of a secret months-long campaign by former Obama administration advisors. Beyond destroying Flynn, these officials had a broader goal in mind: to keep the Trump administration from disclosing terms of the Iran deal that the Obama administration tried to cover up. With me now to dive into this more deeply from the Washington Free Beacon, Adam Kredo. Adam, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Adam, this is really solid reporting. I mean, you broke the internet with this story on Friday, so kudos to you on this journalism. But this is a pretty serious allegation to be making, that the resignation of Mike Flynn was the culmination of a secret months-long campaign by former Obama admin officials to preserve the Iran deal. Tell me what you know.
Sure. Well, it is quite an accusation, and from at least half a dozen sources, both inside and outside of the White House, that I spoke to, it happens to be a fact. Now, we can pinpoint this. We can look at the data points, and I think it kind of presents an interesting situation leading up to Flynn's ouster. Now, in December, stories start to leak. This is when Obama is still in the White House and is maintaining this architecture in the National Security Council that pushed the Iran deal. That's Ben Rhodes, the National Security Advisor. You remember him from the New York Times profile when he was saying that he loves manipulating 25 and 26-year-old reporters into writing what he wants. That's his own quote. And he created that pro-Iran echo chamber, as he put it. Now, they were planning stories about Flynn, it's quite clear. And after they exit, it's very interesting, Rhodes and his allies are very clear about creating another media echo chamber outside of the White House, this to combat Trump on foreign policy. Now, a combination of that, them and their buddies in the press, that would be the New York Times, CBS, NBC, all of the players that you're used to, CNN as well, and a combination of individuals in the IC community, these kind of faceless, nameless bureaucrats that are passing off classified information to these guys. They're getting it placed in the press, and lo and behold, you have Flynn with a negative campaign against him and eventually forced to resign. Now, I would say it's often not glamorous or sexy to see how the sausage is made here in D.C., but I can testify from my over 10 years of reporting that this is actually how it works, and it's kind of gruesome.
Right, it is. It's absolutely shocking. It almost sounds like a conspiracy theory. When I first heard it, before I read your report, actually, I thought it was. I was like, oh, well, that's a little extreme. But I mean, you have the sources, you back it up. This is, it's extraordinary. My question is, why Mike Flynn here? And I think the answer to that question you answered quite clearly in your piece, because Mike Flynn has been such a vocal critic of the Obama administration's deal with Iran here. But what secrets about the Iran deal that we, the American people, don't know about? What secrets does the Obama administration or former, aides and national security officials from the Obama administration not want us to know about?
Well, sure, and I would say you're right. Flynn was very much a vocal opponent of the Iran deal, and also, we should remind everybody, extremely hated by the Obama administration. He left in very poor circumstances and was very critical of them. But when we talk about the Iran deal, there are a number of secret side deals. These are deals that were made with Iran either in the parameters of the nuclear agreement or related to it, and that includes secret side deals about inspections. That is, what nuclear sites can be inspected, when they can be inspected, what inspectors are allowed. A part of the deal includes the fact that the U.S. is not allowed to go into Iran's nuclear sites, no American citizen. So that's one part of the deal. The other is what you'll remember, this $1.7 billion cash payment to Iran. These documents are also being stored in a classified facility on Capitol Hill. Now, the documents themselves, let's be clear, they're not classified. They're only treated as such by the Obama administration, and this actually limits the number of people who can see these side deals, so including this $1.7 billion payment and a number of other deals to roll back sanctions and things of this nature.
Right, and even members of Congress, if I'm not mistaken, aren't allowed to take any notes, aren't allowed to take their cell phones in, aren't allowed to take any photographs, aren't allowed to report on the details of this deal, even though they're allowed to read them, even though it's not classified. But Adam, I guess the one sticking point that I have with this story is General Flynn is not the only one who has access to the terms of this deal. I mean, an incoming national security advisor, especially if he works for President Donald Trump, is likely to share the same viewpoint about the Iran deal. He's likely to levy the same criticism with this, if it was, a campaign, this disinformation campaign against General Flynn. Are we going to see this with every single high-ranking official within the Trump administration?
Well, I would say yes until these Obama holdovers and some of these intelligence community kind of deep state individuals are held to account. These leaks will continue. You're right. It's not just about Flynn. Flynn is the first successful target. And as a source I spoke to put it, until the Trump administration kind of cleans house, we're going to see these campaigns to discredit and undermine Trump's national security team continue. So yes, other people could do this, but if you're spending all of your bandwidth defending against threats and kind of always being on the defensive, you'll never actually get to carry out your agenda.
Right.
And that's the problem we see the Trump administration in right now.
Right, and cleaning out that deep state, I believe, is what they call draining the swamp. That's what President Trump should be focused on more even than the elected officials that are the surface of this problem. Adam, like I said, solid reporting. Thanks so much for sharing this with us. As you get updated information, come back soon. Talk to you soon.